Brossard, King of Acadia by Mr. Steves. The Annapolis Valley, home of Acadia University, Alex Colville, Sam Slick, and Henry Longfellow's famous character, Evangeline. Evangeline is a fictional character who was separated from her fiancé during the expulsion of the Acadians. The story tells of a tale of a quiet, idyllic French culture, only to be crushed by the imperialism of colonial England. But few know the story of a small group of Acadian rebels who fought the British to protect their homeland, led by none other than Brossard, King of Acadia. But first, some background. The Acadians settled in Port Royal, Nova Scotia in 1604. Together with their First Nations allies, the Acadians developed a unique culture of farming, fishing, and music that was unique from the French in France as well as in New France. The Acadians took advantage of the now world-famous tides in the Bay of Fundy, reaching as high as 16 meters, by building a series of dikes. This way, the Acadians were able to control the water, to irrigate the low areas for crops, and to protect them from flooding. Over the years, the Acadians thrived from abundant harvests. Their flag was the traditional tricolore of France, with a star in the top left corner representing Mary, the patron of mariners. They also ate a chicken soup with potato dumplings called fricot poule. But their simple life was soon to be interrupted. In 1713, England and France ended a war in Europe and agreed to a variety of terms in what was called the Treaty of Utrecht, including France giving the land of Acadia over to the British. The French of New France had built Fort Louisbourg in what is now Cape Breton Island, and later in 1751, Fort Beausejour in what is now southeastern New Brunswick. So the British responded by building the Citadel in Halifax in 1749 and Fort Lawrence in 1750. The Acadians claimed to be neutral and not interested in attacking the British, but when the British took Fort Beausejour in 1755, they found 270 Acadians fighting against them inside the fort. So the British told the Acadians to either take an oath of allegiance to the British Crown or be forced to leave their homes. The Acadians refused, and in 1755, over 1,000 Acadians were forced onto boats and off to sea, while the British confiscated their property and burned their houses. Over the next 5 years, the number of Acadians sent away rose to about 10,000. These unfortunate Acadians ended up all over the world, landing mostly in New England, the Caribbean, France, and Louisiana, with thousands dying along the way from drowning and famine. But not all of them were sent away, including Brossard, King of Acadia. Brossard, with about 1,500 men, escaped the British and made several raids on the British forts, attacking their ships in the Bay of Fundy. Even after the siege of Louisbourg in 1758 and the siege of Quebec in 1759, Brossard continued to harass the British until his surrender in 1763. Brossard moved his family to Louisiana, where he and other Acadians created new farms and developed the famous Cajun culture of New Orleans. Get it? Acadian? Cajun? By 1764, the Acadians were allowed to return, but most of their original property had been sold to English settlers. So they settled in northeast New Brunswick and in Prince Edward Island, where you can still see today the Acadian flag being flown. So the next time that you see a picture of Evangeline or have a tasty bowl of poutine râpé. Mmm. Remember the story of the Acadians and their fight for freedom, led by none other than Brossard, King of Acadia. This video was brought to you by Mr. Steve's and Gecko Steve's YouTube channel. Keep calm and get a gecko.